Alright, let's get this show on the road. So, we are running a 5-minute delay. Just a reminder, that's because that's how OFCRA likes to operate, and without that delay, I'm not allowed to stream. But this is another weekly OFCRA operation. I will be your host, Lance Corporal Liru here, and this is the best job in the world because I get to drink on it, and I'm celebrating my own personal stuff as well. So, it's Russians versus US here, and we have quite an interesting operation. If you do the exclamation point mission command, it will give you the full details, but just to show things off, this is about an 85-person PvP operation, but to quickly go into the objectives here, both sides, as always in an OFCRA operation, have a supremacy bonus, where if they knock down the opposing team to 5 or less players, they get 2 points. There is also a US Cyber Command position, which is right here. This building, specifically this purple zone right here, has to be under control by either the US or the Russian faction, Blue 4 or Op 4 respectively, and whoever maintains that control by the end of the mission by at least one person being in it, or one person over the enemy faction. So if there were 3 Russians and 2 US guys in the AO, the points would go to the Russians because of that superiority bonus inside that AO there. They will get 3 points. So far 2 points for supremacy, 3 points for controlling this sector. Now, we also have a data center in play here. That is the Tempest Bunker, and both factions will be vying for control of it. Blue 4 trying to keep it safe and secure, whereas Op 4 will be trying to detonate it. If Op 4 detonates it, it's worth 5 points. If Blue 4 keeps it safe, it's worth 5 points as well. So, it will be up to the US to hold that position. They can risk losing the data center there to at least let the Russians tie, as long as they whittle down the US for at least 5 or less people. But if the Russians were to take the Cyber Command Center and kill at least 5 US guys, but US keep the Tempest Bunker safe till the end of the mission, then there will be a tie and it will go up to the judges. Now, I'm just trying to scroll down here. I don't believe there is anything else of note in this section, but the castle has some custom built stuff. The bunker itself is actually a little bunker in the corner with a little radiation zone according to the mission, and then the Cyber HQ also has some built up stuff on it, as well as some additional US vehicles. Now, it is standard US versus Russians. I do see in the picture roster, we do have a Carl Gustav on the US, and the Russians appear to have RPGs. So a bit more like an older FNF roster in terms of unit capability. I believe the Russians do have 545 and the US have 556, but I also see the US with some DMR guys in the back, and the Russians, I don't see it yet in terms of their marksman capability, but we will have to see what they get. Both sides also get a big amount of vehicles, which we'll cover when we get into the operation itself. But this is all part of a campaign that started while I was taking my 2-week vacation from OFCRA, because school picked up and I was trying to switch things up. I apologize, the map is scrolling around like this. This is just me scrolling through the document itself. And I'm just trying to find information on vehicles here, but this will be a 2-hour mission, which normally the OFCRA ops are 2.5 hours because we include the warm-up time. This will be 2 hours, 15 minutes, including that warm-up time, which we haven't gotten to yet, but they're about to start it momentarily. So Op 4 get the spawn down here, Blue 4 spawn up there. And I'm also celebrating personally because I don't have any college projects left to do, so anyway, let's see. Op 4 gets BMD2s, BTR80s, and S25s. Meanwhile, Blue 4 gets M2A2s and Bradleys. Oh dear, this should be an interesting operation. So there's a lot of armor here, but we'll get a more accurate rundown when we actually get into the server. So I'm going to get rid of the rules here, open up the stream roster there for OBS. We're still on a 20-second delay, so it'll take a hot second. We see some people getting kicked out as they come in. I had to have the guy that asks me to run this, his name is NASA, he's an admin for OFCRA, but I had to get him to send me a local mod because they didn't update on their repository, so I was actually really close to not covering this. We just got in on the nick of time for this campaign here, and I'm glad to cover it because I love watching PvP. People kill each other. It's just one of the fun things we get to commentate on. But I've got a Harry Potter butterbeer here, and, you know, I'll be your host. Good stuff. So, I did see them ask if, oh, no, there is one thing there. We're going in 1 minute. Just a reminder to you guys that are watching this live, we have 3 streams on Thursday. It used to be 4. I cut it down to 3 to allow us to cover OFCRA content in full. But it is this operation. Then at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the Paw Patrol Zeus op, which I will be your Zeus for, and then we have a TMT op at 10, which I will be on the ground for. Last week's was that vampire mission. I'll be curious to see what we do after that. But looks like they are starting the operation in just a moment. We'll quickly cover vehicles, what the infantry have, look at the AOs, and see what we have, because it's a 15-minute warm-up, similar to how FNF does their stuff. So hit the F1 key, make that menu go away, hit the P key for tracers. They said warm up as 10 minutes. They probably will extend that to 15. And let's go ahead and look at the attacking faction first. So we've got Russian forces. Again, there's 85 people on the server, so it's going to be about, I want to say 55 v 40, give or take, maybe a little less on that ratio. But we have standard OP4 kits here. Looks pretty nice in that regard. Some ammo boxes on a table for them to grab additional stuff, but I do see a big lack of magnified optics, which means it's similar to how FNF does their stuff. So we have RPGs at the squad level from the looks of things, but I also see some RPG 26s and some RG SH3s. I don't know if that's the exact designation, but those are thermobaric AT single-shot disposable rocket launchers that are meant to kill squads of infantry. So seeing that on the infantry level is pretty interesting. And we also have plenty of crewman slots, but it is a 5.45 gun, as we can see, and including AK-74SUs for the crewmen here. But we have a good mix. The machine gun appears to be RPKs, actually. That's definitely an RPK magazine, so a 45-round magazine there. Bluck appears to be unconscious. We did hear 2 gunshots. We also have a bird here, which means someone glitched out. They're going to have to respawn. That's a pretty rare glitch right there. But, yeah, it looks like their machine gunners are moved to RPKs instead of PKMs. That's very interesting. Probably to try to mirror it more with an M249, since that's 5.56 as well. So, interesting choice there by the mission developer. I don't think I've ever seen that happen in a PvP op, but that's a pretty nice balance change. It does mean that the 249 gunners are going to be superior, but we haven't looked at the US yet to see what exactly their vehicles are. But what I think is really interesting is we have 2 BMD2s, excuse me. These are parachutable tanks. And they also have their menace systems tied to it, so some autocannons being used for PvP. That's going to be really, really cool. We got 3 BTRs here, and then we have a 2S25, which is a parachute tank. It's basically a BMP3 chassis with a tank gun on top. And then it looks like the marksman rifle right there is going to be an SVD with a, I think that's a PSO2 scope. So really interesting choices. I think it's going to be really cool to see this autocannon PvP go down and see how things go, especially on this large of a map. I mean, it's going to take the vehicles there at least 20 minutes to get into the AOs. So we do have a 2-hour time slot for this operation. I think it's going to be really, really interesting to see how all these go. It looks like they're actually restarting the mission because they screwed the warm-up. So bear with me there. Looks like our tracer script is working fine, so That is A-okay. You can hear the gunfire going. But yeah, the warm-up only displayed 10 minutes instead of 15, so they have to go back to mission to then go into the parameter box on the top to change that probably to 15 minutes, and then they will redo the mission. So a little bit of extra time, but like I said, that's the reason I took my TSB up and I moved it to bi-weekly on Wednesdays. So I now have like 3 additional hours to cover OFCRA if they run over. Though nowadays it's more of a matter of when they run over, you know what I mean? So we got the time. It's up to you guys if you want to stay with me. This will always go to YouTube. Actually, it'll go up to YouTube tomorrow because I'm caught up with my backlogs here, and we'll just continue going with everything. Excuse me one second. Want to clear my throat there a little bit, but we also have Sirius showing up. I don't know if that's the same Sirius that we see in FNF and the 700th, but it's interesting to see where people are and how they go. But I see that people are starting to jump into the live stream. So how are you guys doing? Again, we'll be on a 5-minute delay for all OFCRA operations because that's how they like to operate to help prevent stream sniping and whatnot. But we're going to get back in the server. We'll go right over to the US faction, take a look at what they have and what they're doing. And then we'll take a look at the AOs and then some potential strategies that either side can do with what vehicles they have. But thank you for joining me on this Thursday. I am going to be perfectly honest. I'm glad anyone showed up because, you know, Cyberpunk is pulling so many people around, but hope you enjoy this OFCRA operation and the rest of the content. Anyway, Connor JC, thank you so much for the 13-month resub. I hope you keep enjoying the operations. Hope you're having a good morning or evening wherever you are in the world. And I hope you get a kick out of the stream and you're staying safe among COVID-19. All right, back on. Hit the F1 key, hit the P key for tracers. Warm-up still set to 10 minutes. So I don't know if they're going to possibly have another thing to fix that because it's supposed to be a warm-up of 15 minutes, but we'll have to see. But looking at the US, we see 2 Humvees outside. We have an M2 MRAP on the top. We've got a tow Humvee in play and a Crow System 50 cal Humvee. So already a lot of vehicle variation. We got 2 M2 up-armored 50 cal turrets for the gunners and then 2 Bradleys. Oh, man, so that's the counter to the 2 BMD2s, interestingly enough. And then they also have the thermal camera on the top. I'm not sure if they disable thermal optics in their operation, so it'll be pretty interesting to see all of that go down today. But those thermal cameras, I mean, one shot of pretty much anything will disable the glass on it, making it unusable. So that'll be a target of opportunity for the OFCRA forces. But we got a pretty good variation of stuff here. Though I will say the 2S25 that OFCRA has will be the biggest asset on the server. But that's probably why the US have the tow Humvee to try to outmaneuver and counter it. But otherwise, infantry on the AO, I'm seeing some 240 Bravos in play. There's the Carl Gustav I talked about earlier. This is more than likely some sort of weapons team, which, you know, Echo, that would make sense. And, nope, the Carl Gustav guy ran over here. This is where their ammo is. They're going to potentially, nope, there's actually 3 Carl Gustav gunners. Interesting. So they're mirroring the ability of the RPG. As a squad-based weapon, they made the Carl Gustav a squad-based weapon as well. We also see some AT4s, but there isn't going to be any mirroring of that RSGH, whatever the heck that thermobaric single-shot AT launcher is. That is unique to the Russian faction. But we basically have some Blue 4556 rifles here. There's the M249, so it's interesting to see how these advantages go by. And then we have a DMR with, I don't think that might be a Leopold scope, actually. But some advantages that we're seeing right off the bat for some of the kits is the Blue 4 faction has double the size for their marksman rifles, 20 rounds compared to 10 with that DMR compared to the SVD. And we have the 249 with a 200-round belt compared to the RPKs, which will have 45-round belts, or potentially even 60-round belts. Because I know they have NI arms in this mod set as well. And I can't honestly tell if they're using NI arms mags or whatchamacallit. Let me think. People are saying the GitHub thing broke. Let me quickly check on that and see what's the case there. I apologize if it did. It still works for me. It might be locked off, actually. So, I don't know. Let me know if the GitHub is still broken, because it just worked fine for me, and I'll just remove it from the list. But there's too much to write on what each faction has to specifically do to get things going. And yes, it is one life. And we have Superman jumping back and forth. That's just a desync spike, but we have what looks like 203 systems compared to 320s. That's because it's better mirrored against a... Actually, no, not really, because a GP25 system can go up to 400 meters. The 203 system can accurately go up to 250 meters, whereas the 320 system can accurately go up to 350 meters. So it's an extra 150 meters in range. Actually, excuse me, 100 meters in range, because it goes to 250 to 350, but the GP25 system can still accurately go up to 400, and oh my gosh, I didn't even notice that. The Bradleys do have their tow systems in play as well, so that should be interesting enough to see. But OFCRA advantages, they do have the 2S25, and I'm honestly trying to think what else at that point. They'd have the RSGs and stuff. You know, the single-shot thermobaric AT rounds. They also have more deadly AT rockets with the tandem heats, as you see on the back of Roid Camper there. And we also have, I mean, would an advantage be that OFCRA has BTRs and Blue 4 have MRAPs and Humvees? I'd honestly prefer the Humvees and the MRAP. The MRAP would definitely be much more up-armored compared to the BTR-80s themselves. So this should be a pretty good mirror match overall of everything.
Milk for the cornflakes. Glory to sludge. And let's have a good op.
These honestly look like the 45-round magazines, though. So, but they do have a bipod on their guns. I'm not sure if the 249 has it, but I also saw 240 Bravos. And I haven't seen any PKMs to kind of mirror that, you know, 7.62 versus 7.62. So maybe Blue 4 gets a weapon squad, but OFCRA does not? Luck just got smacked with the little comic book sound there. Ah, here we go. PKP with, yep, okay. So there is a mirror match on the weapon squad there. But anyway, Killing Gao. How are you doing? One of the longest subs going into the channel here on his 40-month resub with a gold badge. How are you doing, my man? I hope you keep enjoying the ops, both watching and... actually, I'm not sure if you ever played before. I don't recall. But I hope you keep enjoying watching the ops. Hope you enjoy this OFCRA operation. And I hope you're staying safe on COVID, man. Seriously. Appreciate it. We're also hearing some... spray paint go off. I just have no... Oh, there it is. Classic. Spray paint's good to mark when you've cleared buildings, but, you know, people can just go into those buildings and delay it. I know what's that. That's why I put it in the mission command that we have a 5-minute delay for the OFCRA stuff. It's just a requirement of the community. A little bit of a lag spike right there. I think that was just the weather changing, probably from mostly cloudy to partially cloudy. Though we do have a little bit of overcast, which is why you hear that rain going. So that animation was because he still had his rifle out, but he was changing the type of warhead on his secondary weapon. That's why it was glitching out like that. 3 minutes till start, and... yeah, no, I kind of like this, though. Because this reminds me of how FNF was before they started changing stuff. Because both sides had some distinct advantages between Blue 4 and OFCRA before they kind of mirrored Blue 4 and OFCRA for better, you know, balance. But I kind of like having some variations of the faction. Similar to, you know, if you... actually, no one's going to get that reference. Never mind, I was going to bring up Homeworld. But, you know, both factions are nearly the same with some dynamic changes that, you know... play to the group's strengths, so they have some relied strengths to utilize, but so does the enemy with their own. So Don't know why some AK shots just went off, but I'll be real curious to see how this 2S25 is used, and I'll be really curious to see where those Bradleys are deployed. But let's have a look at these AOs. So first and foremost, 2 minutes remaining, U.S. Advanced Cyber Command. Again, this position has to be kept secured by one of the 2 factions here in this purple zone, and that will net them 3 points as long as they have 1 person over the other faction. So again, if the U.S. have 3 people in this AO and the Russians have 2 in the AO, the points will go to Blue 4. We have a bunker right here. It's a fallout shelter. That's pretty cute. I wonder if that doorway is openable to that area. But this is a pretty well-made AO. We've got a pretty nice makeup here. Someone definitely went well in the smaller details. And again, because this is PvP, it's a lot better to do that. We've got a Bohemia Interactive box right here. I'll be curious to see what asset they actually used to make this, because that's actually something I'd like to use in the future for some of my ops. But again, stuff made. Got some stacked bills around right here. That's pretty dope. But overall, I mean, everything's pretty well made. I mean, it feels like an actual U.S. Advanced Cyber Command Center. But we've got an outer perimeter wall right here. We've got some of the second-story windows open. The first-story windows are all sealed off, though, so that makes this a secured room. I like that. The building next to it is a cereal box. You can't enter, but we've got some bunkers aside. Honestly, it's great that it has a perimeter wall, but it actually lacks a lot of positions for people to get over that perimeter wall and fire outward, with the exception to the main building. And since the OPFOR guys have thermobaric ammunition, 1 thermobaric rocket into here from any angle will do significant damage to anyone that stays in this sector. So that should be pretty interesting to see how things go with that regard, but we'll have to see how Blue 4 decides to defend that AO. Let's look at... Ooh, it just got darker. There we go. It's saying there's 8 hours. That's in-game time. I think there might be a little bit of a time forward going. I don't think I have the tools to tell that because my timer's blocked out. But this is the Tempest bunker. This right here needs to be detonated with explosive charges in here for it to count for the OPFOR guys to quote-unquote blow it up. So if this gets blown up, OPFOR gets 5 points. If U.S. can keep it secure, it's 5 points to the U.S. But this is a lot better in terms of defensive. You've got... They even added some wooden boards right here so that when you go up to this section, you can actually stay up here and have a bit more room to kind of overwatch around the facility. And that's not the only place you can get up to these high grounds here. And they added a bunch more wooden boards to make this flooring. I really like that. It's just, you know, having the wooden board itself is only like this little piece right here. It's just 2 planks going through, so it's very asset heavy right here, though with the disabled simulation it can work out. Maybe a support strut right there I would have added if this was one of my Zeus ops, just to give it a little bit of realism, but I mean, beggars can't be choosers in that regard. So we've got some nice overwatch here from the upper levels. We also got some bunkers going. They've got a gate off, which is nice. And then we also have access to this tower up the top, which can do some really good recon around this area. And then we have some bunkers out here that can establish kind of an outer perimeter, which is great. Because Blue 4 is going to mainly be on the defensive, and they've got, you know, 40 to 50 dudes, so they have the manpower to spread out. Similar to what you would see in FNF, but a little bit of a weakness from the northern flank, but that's also where the other defensive position is. And we do have a little bit of a position right here. I don't think this is part of the map, though, because it's not coming up on the map, but, you know, 2 deer stands, a little bit of a post right there to commit some overwatch. That's pretty nice. So, Blue 4, I mean, all they have to do is just set up defenses around this sector right here, but pretty good AO overall for them. We got some rocks right here. Sometimes that indicates there's some bunkers and stuff nearby, but this is an Arma 2 ported map, so probably not. Now, easy shots wise, I don't think there's any position where the 2S25 could get on a hill and just strike the bunker outright and annihilate it from range. That's why they specifically put the bunker in this little alcove right here. So that's pretty good. It means the Russians are going to have to come in here and take this AO. But I also like how we've got, you know, some pretty good internal defenses as well. Some sandbags, an LAV command vehicle right here. That's just a prop from Arma 2. But I also really like this perimeter security done on this bunker here. And they actually folded it down a little bit. No, they added some more Heskos around it. That way, when, see, these ones kind of float. That's actually a really cool concept. Just add more sandbags to it so you don't have to finagle the angle properly. I might steal that idea too. That's pretty good. Yeah, I think it, no, it's not done to this one too, but it's covered enough. You can see a little bit of a gap right here, but that's pretty good. But it has really, this compound has a really good 360. It's got really good overwatch. But the one factor that's going to be really interesting about this operation itself is the use of the autocannons from the Bradleys and the BMD2s. My apologies on hitting that button. Alright, so we've got two 113s immediately charging up. Those are both armed with M2s and their step up for protective armor around the gunner. And we have Flip for Flap leading. He appears to be some sort of leadership role since he's in a group by himself. So I would assume this is Flip for Flap versus Lolo. Not Lolo from, oh, I guess it would be Lolo. But not Lolo from TSB. This is a different Lolo. And meanwhile, OPFOR, they're sending some forces around to the northern side, but vehicles are still heading out, and it looks like it's spaced out a bit. So again, transport-wise, it's going to take a little while for all these units to get around. We got some Humvees coming around. That would be the tow Humvee with an M2 Crow Humvee, with just a group of, let's see, 2, 3, 4. So 6 people total on that flank, which means the main force is going to be... Oh, this is funny. We have Bestvar, I guess, walking because he missed the groups there. But we've got, I would assume, the rest of the infantry and the Bradleys, and they're going to come up to the other positions. We got some infantry with Roland pushing out right there, and then we have a transport truck, which is probably the entirety of Delta Squad. They might try to set up some sort of blocking position along this MSR to catch OPFOR guys coming around, which would be smart. But we do have an OPFOR group doing a really wide flank here, which again is also smart, but we'll have to see how OPFOR deploys with Blue 4's resistance here. But they've tried to do a bit of variation. We got one squad going up to hold this position. We've got, you know, these guys with the 113s going up to hold the Tempest bunker. And then, you know, the Humvees are going to act as fast attack vehicles to try to hit vehicles on their rear. And then another Bradley with U.S. guys in a truck that might try to set up a blocking position of some sort. Meanwhile, OPFOR so far have deployed some groups to the north, so they might try a northern attack on the Advanced Cyber Command Center. We'll see where these guys go in the runabout. That's the 2S25 right there. It appears to be lagging out a little bit, going back and forth right there. Let's have a look. They appear to have dismounted it, I think because they're switching out who's in what slot because of some lag issues there. But now we're having NASA. He's the guy that invites me to shout these events. He's going off on his own in a BTR as the other BMD. Nope, that's the first BMD going up north because the other one is lagging behind with the remaining groups here. And that's Lalo with his UAZ as command pick. So Blue 4 already getting some groups on site here. That would be... Gosh, who's the mic leader again? Flip for Flap, checking out the defenses firsthand of this position. Again, it's pretty nice. There's some room where, you know, OPFOR can come in on the sides, but this should be pretty well defendable in that regard. So Blue 4 is going to start setting up defenses. OPFOR still about 5 to 10 minutes away, depending on the route they're taking, and we'll have to see how things go in that regard. I will say, though, what's that? I see a comment he gave. By the time this gets to him, it'll be a few minutes past. But usually in PvP, they don't give long-range optics in an attempt to try to make the fights a bit more long-range. However, when you add ranged autocannons in the mix, I think it would be okay to give groups, like, scoped optics and stuff. because the autocannons are, you know, scoped out and they can definitely murder players in that regard. But we'll have to see how things go. Now, we do have a transport truck. This is where first contact might be. I think this group is just going to follow the MSR going up. But I'll be curious to see where that autocannon goes as well. We're hearing the the 113s moving up. I got that term confused with 1117, which is a completely different vehicle platform. But if these guys could catch some of the OPFOR vehicles early as they come around, that could be devastating for OPFOR. And we got some of the Blue 4 guys. They've deployed up here on a hill, and they're just doing some far overwatch for now. I guess waiting to be called in if those two S25 or other armored vehicles are spotted early on. Meanwhile, this transport truck is deploying some groups right here. Actually, it's not a transport truck, it's the MRAP. So they want to try to overwatch this MSR right here, but OPFOR has been utilizing the other MSR to get by. So this vehicle, it's going to turn left here. That's a transport Ural. They're going to potentially get spotted by this group, but the Bradley could then be ordered to go north and stop that MSR. I'm really surprised that they didn't go for something more so right here. By going on this one position, it kind of spaces them out a little bit too far, but we still have a potential. Oh, that's going to be tough. Let's look at the level here. Blue 4 could potentially see the Ural on that road right there and then chase it down with this M2 Vic, but they don't have a driver prepped in it ready to go. So that Ural might be able to get away, but we do have that Ural right there in the open. We got Nick right here. He'll potentially see its skyline. I can't. There we go. Oh, yeah, it's right there. It's driving by. He turned to it. He just saw it, and he's tracking it now. And I think you just saw the tail end of it go. So now it's a matter of, is Blue 4 going to remount that car and chase it down? Maybe Metro here will go for it. Or maybe they'll order their Bradley to hook north. But we have a BTR 80 coming in. It's not going to be a match for that Bradley. But I wonder what these guys are going to do with OPFOR pushing their vehicles here. Because if Blue 4 can catch a bunch of free kills early on, that would be absolutely amazing for them to do to help whittle down OPFOR's numbers. Especially since they're going to have a massive convoy come up this route. Honestly, if the Ural didn't do that, they would have been fine because that MSR takes them far enough away from this group. But I'm willing to bet this Blue 4 group is now going to reposition to potentially try to track that vehicle or redeploy on this MSR, and that's going to screw the rest of this convoy. Because a Bradley would have all of the capabilities to take on anything in that convoy. The BMP-2s, if it nails with its AP rounds on its Bushmaster cannon, it could take out the BMDs. The 2S25, it just needs a good two-shot toe placement, and it could do devastating damage. Now, I don't think that Bradley is going to catch this Ural out, but if they set up on the MSR and properly predict things, that could be great. But now we have this MRAP pushing up. They could get behind this BTR, which has a full squad in it from Papa. So all the 6 EME guys we see in FNF, it could potentially take them out. I don't think they're going to get audio PID on it. But if they set up, they could catch the rest of this convoy out of position. Because OPFOR is, they sent all these vehicles out to recon the route. They think it's safe now, but Blue 4 could dynamically shift that because that Ural went on the wrong route and blew the convoy for the rest of the group. So we'll see if Blue 4 decides to adapt their strategy because of what they spotted. But if OPFOR gets screwed by Blue 4 in that regard, that's because that Ural basically made a wrong turn and adjusted for it, but basically screwed everyone else. So that's going to be frustrating to Lalo's plan there. And then we still have some groups of OPFOR right here. No, that's 5 guys have dismounted. NASA leading them. They have a BTR-80 with them. They have to be careful, though, getting that close to the AO because Blue Fort has defenders, obviously. They also have a forward group here set up with a Bradley, but that Bradley could easily reposition and take out that BTR-80 and that infantry group. We also have some more OPFOR guys that were in that UAZ, I believe, that have deployed down here. It is 4 of them total, and they're going to probably start trying to move into that command center from the north. Hold up. Bradley. Oh no, the BTR-80 is going to be completely exposed. The 6 EME guys are going to get shredded by the Bradley. Here's first contact, guys. The BTR has no way to counter it unless their AT guy gets out and gets a really quick shot off, but they're screwed. Let's watch. We just saw blood. It's smoking. Oh. BTR quickly trying to push past. But we already have 4 skulls in there. That thing's going to start cooking off soon. BTR is going to pursue. Now there's no fuel cooking off. People are quickly trying to dismount. Switching the machine gun. There goes the AT guy. That was the guy that the BTR needed to kill quickly. That Vic's going to explode. And... oh dear, we got a machine gunner running out. He goes prone, trying to roll away. He is now dead. And all that is remaining is Shadow, the squad leader who is unconscious. And that is a devastating start for OPFOR right there. I wonder if these guys are going to hear that cook-off and know that that group just got intercepted. They'll be able to see that smoke on the horizon, and they now are going to... they have a long range, right? Yep. They're going to tell the rest of that convoy that this route is now no longer safe, and they might need to change positions here. So Lolo here looks like he has dismounted. He might try to stop his convoy and order them on a different route, or just tell his vehicles to be on proper security. But this is locked to first person, by the way, so if they pass this vehicle... we'll see where Blue Fort goes with that, but if Blue Fort sees the convoy push past and they just stay silent, they could have that Bradley set up in a position to mop them all up. But with all of those free kills, Blue Fort now has an advantage. And they're already pushing out, so the risk with sending units out without proper security is a major one. And now we have OPFOR dismounting here to potentially change up their strategy. So I like how OPFOR is responding to this, but losing an entire squad early on is going to be a pretty nasty detriment. They might be having people get on the back of the BMD, so there's a lot more eyes to look around for dismount, Bradleys and stuff, but that's also very risky. But they are going to push on this route. We got the Blue Fort Vic that's pulling up. Bradley is now repositioning into another position here with a knocked over tree to get a little bit better overwatch, thinking that that original position might be compromised. That way they can just follow the convoy, go north, and engage it from the rear again. Oh man, but that was messy. Also, I forgot to put up the OFCRA command if you guys want to know what group it is and potentially get in on this PvP action. They are an open community, and they do accept single players. But we're seeing a lot of the 6 EME guys get, they're disconnecting because they have died. And again, it's 1 life. That's gotta suck, though. Your entire group gets annihilated. Just by a, literally, it's not even their fault. The fault goes to the Ural group that went on the wrong road and aggroed Blue Fort. Because again, if they went on this MSR instead of the other MSR and then took a left, they wouldn't have alerted the Blue Fort group that went right there because they were with a Bradley, and then that Bradley was told to go north instead because it was back here, and that's what cut them off. So it's not even a fault of their own that they got killed. It's just a fault of their own squad, or excuse me, their own side. a different squad got him killed. And that's the nature of massive player PvP. Alright, so Op4, they've redeployed. You do have a few dudes that have deployed over here, I guess, to see if anything might come around to flank them. You've got the Blue 4 group that's redeployed on this area. Let's have a look real quick. They flipped their Vic. So RHS, yeah, it's very easy to flip these vehicles, but these guys are going to be in a lot of trouble here if they don't have transport. The Bradley can take 6 people, but they're going to have to coordinate with another Vic to come in. And by the way, that guy that's been forced to walk, he's about halfway into something. What the fuck just happened? I guess they have a script to unflip their Vics, which would make sense, but that lucky they didn't kill anyone with that. Meanwhile, Op4 being a lot more defensive here. They're deploying in a battle line, trying to find where that ambush is. But now Blue 4 is going to remount that Vic and push forward. So Op4, the guys that have gotten here already, they are doing an early dismount. I guess they're waiting for the rest of the group. I think their Op4 wants to try to do like a battle line approach, all eggs in one basket strategy, I like to call it, where they hit this position first, and then they'll hit that second position to try to divide where Blue 4's force is to get some easier advantages early on. But with Op4 losing a full squad already, it's going to be really tough to bounce back from that scenario. So this is going to force Op4 to be a lot more cautious going forward, which will help eat up on that clock. But again, the clock, it's 2 hours long for this operation, so there's a lot of wiggle room for Op4 to be cautious in this regard. But you gotta remember, it's one life, so once people die, that's it for them. So Blue 4 still has that early on advantage here. And Op4 and Blue 4, they're pretty close to each other within a click here. I'll be curious to see where Op4 goes. I'm honestly surprised they didn't just pull out and take another 10 to 15 minutes to deploy where their other Op4 force was to indicate that it was safe. Now, we still do have this Blue 4 roaming group, and they're actually starting to cut on the southern side here around. That's a hunter symbol, but I think, yeah, it's, that's funny. So this is a Humvee marker, and that's a hunter from NATO Vanilla as the Crow system, so I guess that's a glitch right there. It just hasn't been assigned properly on the map. But that's kind of funny to see how that's mismarked. Otherwise, Blue 4, they're pushing their squad back south along this MSR. They're leaving their Bradley right up there for Overwatch. We got Op4 sending one of those original groups. They're actually deploying now, trying to get a little bit closer. You still got Blue 4 set up right here with a Bradley. That would not be good if that Bradley were to catch that UAZ out of position. We got a big roaming hill right here, so that's actually a lot of room in this valley for that Romeo group to push up. It looks like they're dismounting right there. And we have Bestafar almost to the Cyber Command position. And this Bradley is now being ordered to reposition. Potentially with that Blue 4 group, maybe they're thinking that Op4 knows they lost a squad, and maybe it was just a lone unit. Now, what I'm curious about is, will that Bradley see anything as it maneuvers? And that's very unlikely, because Op4 has the defilade with them here. But this Bradley, it's going to go cross-country here. But I'm really curious here. Looks like it didn't count any of the kills for them, but they wrapped up quite a chunk, so... Interesting. So that's going to open up the flank for OPFOR to keep pursuing, but of course they don't have any intel on Blue 4's movement here. So they're going to continue to think there is some sort of Bradley in this position. But I'm really curious to... I'd like to know why Lolo here hasn't decided just to reposition everything in that regard. Very curious, very curious. We just heard a few gunshots. What were those about? Alright, so I think OPFOR, they've spotted the Bradley over here. They're getting their AT guy to adjust just in case things are looking hairy here. I don't think that... Yeah, no, if they knew this would be a really easy BTR kill for the Bradley to take, but the Bradley is looking over watching for the infantry group. So yeah, they're going to hide behind here. They knocked that tree down intentionally, and now they've actually got some really good concealment from that angle. But now that OPFOR knows that Bradley's right there, they're going to pull back away from it, and that could alleviate the entire convoy to go by. We also already see the 2S25 adjusting to potentially go take out that Bradley in case they think it's coming around to flank them. You got the two BMD2s on standby ready to move out, but this could be the opportunity OPFOR was looking for to push around without being harassed by that Bradley. So Blue 4 giving up a little too easy, in my opinion, on this flank, and are just resorting to overwatching this MSR, which, again, in my opinion, is a really bad idea because you want to be able to cover both. Like, if you really wanted to, you would choke out both of these MSRs at the same time. Because otherwise, one can just be used to go around, and OPFOR is going to try to choose the sneakiest position available. But it's also, I find this interesting how both sides have, you know, sent units along this MSR to, you know, properly defend it, meaning both commanders were able to properly... Blue 4 was able to properly predict OPFOR's plans, but Lalo's done a really good job of trying to juggle his units in the balance of Blue 4. So now we have the 2S25 might start trying to hunt for that Bradley, but if it keeps going, it's gonna put itself in a kill zone. So that's gonna pull back even more. Now you have the MRAP potentially going to go back and set up a defense here. I don't think OPFOR knows that the IFV stopped right here, so you could potentially have the 2S25 pull out too far and get towed in the back by the Bradley. And now you have Blue 4 looking around with binos over here. He was looking right at where Zulu was, but I think Zulu's too far away for him to notice. They're in this far building right here. It's that's Lalo. Excuse me. Oh man, it's crazy to think. Just a little bit of defilade away. Before redismounting over here, they're looking for more forces to get free kills on. And now you have Gonzo. Nope. Oh, no, we did get back in the Bradley. I'll be curious to see where that goes next. But I think they're tied to this squad, and that squad's reconning for them. But they're too far, and the Vic's too loud to hear the audio PID. And the Bradley's going to pull away, and that's going to make such a bigger gap for OPFOR to pull around. But OPFOR, again, playing this super cautious, because they already lost a squad just by charging all the units in. So I predict we're probably going to have another 15 to 20 minutes of OPFOR repositioning. Blue 4 is going to be more defensive along the area itself right here. Thinking that OPFOR might try a more direct approach after intercepting that one BTR right there, even though that's not the case. And this is going to allow OFCRA to set up some time to probably do a north to south attack approach in this AO. But we are a fourth of our time in this field. Chat, how are you doing? I know it's a 5-minute delay, but I'll get to you when I can get to you. So, with the Bradley moving down, again, I do believe they're tied to that infantry group. I doubt it's going to be useful anymore unless they decide to go north, but I think they're trying to cover this section and then thinking that, you know, with the stopping of that Vic, they're just going to go that way, so they're trying to cover that area.
Send in goat team
but it's not going to do too well.
now.
Moon, how you doing, my man? I could use some brisket. Thanks for the 20-month resub. I fixed the mission file for next Tuesday, and please tell me what planet that the Mandos want for the next one so I can have that second mission file ready to go. Otherwise, hope you keep enjoying the ops, both watching and playing, man. Hope you're staying safe. I'm on COVID, and I hope you get a kick out of this PvP operation. Neither side has air support. It is just ground Vix only, which really does change the dynamics of this AO. If both sides have air support, had air support, they'd be able to do a lot more scouting and reconning, and then Blue 4 would probably be more defensive, but ready to send units out as a QRF force, which you can just say is QRF, because QRF stands for Quick Response Force, but OFCRA could then use that to, you know, just constantly recon their route. So we're seeing some groups remounting. And we are seeing OPFOR sending 5 dudes over. I think what they're thinking is maybe if Blue 4 decided not to heavily garrison the objective site, a group of 5 could potentially just sneak in and take this. And because we do have a lot of defensive sites around the AO itself, maybe if OPFOR goes up and sees that, you know, some of them are completely empty, they might feel a little more comfortable with trying to breach in, but that's only if they're going to see some of these guys up here. And we do have a DMR up here as well. Looks like he had a little boo-boo right there that he patched up. He's also got a laser designator. Interesting. But, you know, if Nop here is up to his game, that DMR could easily get a few kills from this tower. And without any autocannon support by OPFOR, because they've dedicated it all to the north and escorting this convoy, those infantry could easily get picked off. So Nubas now taking a direct approach. I'm not sure if he spotted something moving in that direction, because I think unbeknownst to him, he's pushing in the direction that those vehicles are going. But realistically, not with the fog, actually, he wouldn't have that range. So I think he's just trying to hunt for where that Bradley went, but to no success. Alright. I'm not gonna lie, I also might do a little bit of editing on this VOD before it goes to the main channel. If it's still gonna take another 20 to 30 minutes of units to kind of reposition, you know? So otherwise, it's just a bunch of dead air with predictions. But we do have OPFOR getting close right here. They're still in a valley right here. There's another one right here, which the other Blue 4 forces in. Actually, they're at the top of the hill. Yeah, so I completely misread the map. They're on ridge lines that could be opposing. And Goatland, he is a marksman himself, and he is looking in the direction of where that Blue 4 group is. And they are completely looking the wrong direction here. What the heck are you looking at? He is looking kind of like into the rock. Yes, the ants on this rock are absolutely amazing. But if OPFOR got eyes on them, they would know there's a group there. And as long as they stay on the right side of this ridge, they can probably sneak up a little closer undetected. But it's good they have a marksman there. And it's Goatland, who I know from FNF is actually pretty good. He could potentially pick off Nop there, who's the Blue 4 DMR guy. Otherwise, grand scheme of the map, OPFOR still being incredibly cautious to the north. OPFOR, however, being a little more lucrative on the southern push of the northern group these guys pathfinding a bit more. I'm really surprised they didn't send a UAZ back to potentially scout around, but then again, what would a UAZ do against a Bradley? But if they know the Bradley left, then maybe this thing could be used to quickly scout out things, unless they fear the other Bradley, which, I mean, it all depends on what's going through Lalo's head. Yes, they all have radios, and then they use long ranges to communicate with each other over, you know, multiple clicks. I actually think that's what this UAZ is going to do. It's going to drive back and make sure that route's secure, and then all of OPFOR is going to remount and potentially dismount over in Herzeg or around it in these two forests, and then push into the Cyber Command, make sure that's clear, and then go to the other objective. And again, you don't get points for that until the end of the mission, which is still another hour and 15 minutes away. Sounds like this probably won't hit you by the time you leave, but thanks so much for dropping by, man. Always appreciate it. And you guys are doing good. Okay, it's been that 5-minute mark, so glad to hear on that. Otherwise, OPFOR is still pushing up right here. They could potentially get up pretty close. It's going to be, honestly, luck that Nob here is looking in the right direction for OPFOR to push up and practically just get lucky and seeing something from out in the area, but this is going to let OPFOR get really close. I doubt they'll make an attack on the objective, but just in case they do, that'd be interesting to see. Starting to see some OPFOR units remount their vehicles here. They might start pushing. UAZ's gone back into town, I guess, to check it. They might have OPFOR follow this MSR around and then redeploy on the northern side. Meanwhile, Blue 4 has taken this route, this SSR, through Etchmat here, thinking that OPFOR, again, would get more conservative on that route instead of, you know, staying on it. Which is a fair assessment by Flip for Flap, who is Blue 4 ground command, but OPFOR is just being a little ballsy today. Alright, I'm going to quickly get up here, flip my light on because it's starting to get dark. But let's see. OPFOR, we have another guy, Hippie. I think they fully dismounted the BTR. Hippie was just driving it, but he is now moving up on his own. He is a crewman. That naked thing is just a client-side glitch for me. But he does have an RPK with him, so that would be a little bit of machine gun support. So that means that this group is now a 6-man team. And they could potentially assault this position. So, Goatland as a marksman. Hippie as a machine gunner. You've got Roid up here as AT, and he's got a thermal barrack loaded first, because that's better for AT stuff. Sky Online being a medic. And you have Sacred Pand here as a grenadier, with that thermal barrack rocket launcher, and then the squad leader as NASA, who is one of the admins of this community. So this group could potentially break in. It's 6 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6v10. But, I mean, we live in a world where Audrey Hotto can get 20 kills in a round in FNF, so anything is possible. And OPFOR still being slow to move their northern groups. Now, Blue 4 could still potentially go up this valley, use these trees as cover and concealment, and potentially get, like, right on top of this, because we're seeing the angle where the castle can actually see you. They could literally take this all the way up, start seeing up into there, and then potentially come around. But, oh gosh, Blue 4 has Austin powered their 113s on the entryways. That's interesting. And I think Charlie, that's a bit of barbed wire there. I think they're actually building some fortifications on the internal area. We got some barbed wire put at the entrance as well. Nice. So OPFOR is going to basically have to infiltrate this compound without being seen. But Blue 4 is focused on looking far out. They might not see Op4 come into this AO. We already have Royd here pathfinding with that AT. Probably not the best role to do pathfinding, because in case there's a vehicle in there. But I think Blue 4 is predicting that, hey, like Auto Cannon Vix aren't going to be in the compound. They'll probably be on Overwatch duty overlooking the area. But if Blue 4 had a more spaced out defense group, they had another squad or two actually defending, they might have been able to catch this out. I think Blue 4 has invested too much in trying to be proactive in finding Op4's force here, with 3/4 of their force kind of, you know, in a defensive line outside of the objective, and that's allowed Op4 to come around. Even though they caught a BTR and a full squad, having that same group now come down in an Overwatch vector that this group is covering, I think is a bit of a waste of manpower. These guys could have afforded to stay up to the north and at least cover that northern side, while this group had the western group locked down, and then this group had the south, you know? By taking that group from the north down to the western flank, it's left Op4 to come around. I think they did that, though, because they felt comfortable that Lalo would adjust his strategy after losing a full BTR, but Lalo's just, you know, doubled down on it. And that's going to let him sneak a lot of guys on this northern flank. But NASA, as the squad leader here, I think is actually going to try to make a move on this compound. But he's right under this tower now. I don't think Blue 4 is going to spot it until Op4 gets right on top. So at that point, it's going to be a matter of how many bodies can Op4 drop on the bat for that first surprise advantage. And then, how's the PvP from that on? Mike trying to find a good spot right here. He does have an ACOG on his gun. That's pretty good. But he is, I believe, a squad leader of some sort. No, that's flip for flat. Okay, my bad. So yeah, commanders get the best optic. That makes sense. Huh, 7-person shelter. Alright, quick check. Yep, Op4 remounting their guys, now starting to come into the town, feeling comfortable with that regard. Blue 4 still completely out of position to cover that now. And you have both of those recon groups with Sierra that have pulled within a kilometer of the Cyber Command post, trying to recon things out. Maybe they're reconning that tower up there and trying to see if they can see anything. I am seeing binos go in that direction, so that would make a lot of sense. I think they're coordinating with Quebec here to push them right up to the compound. Speaking of pushing right up to the compound, you got Op4 right on top. Oh, you hear those footsteps. Come on, Flip, you hear those footsteps. You can hear them. But Charlie's still planting his stuff, so I don't think he's realized that that's enemy. Yeah, you can hear them from down here. And no one's reacting to it because they just think it's people on the ground. You know the jokes on like Xbox Live and shit about turtle beaches and stuff? This is what those jokes talk about, because Blue 4 isn't reacting to those footsteps because they think they're dudes on the ground, but you hear like 4 copies of them on the ground. That is room to freak out over. And now they're pointing out there's a 113 right here. Their best bet would be to keep sneaking around and come through this entrance. However, we do have a Blue 4 guy watching that one sector. But these vehicles are wedged in a way that they're not going to be able to get through, because if they try to enhance movement over them, they'll enter them because of how, unless they switch their enhanced movement button to something different other than space or enter key. Usually people set it to space. Grenade got thrown over, and someone just killed himself with his own grenade. Are you... Are you for real? Hippie just died from his own grenade. Last week we had someone kill themselves with their own AT grenade too. Quebec has decided to take the vehicle and just move it instead. You got NASA trying to line up a headshot on Lasana, but instead he's firing at a different angle. Lasana's now gonna jump back, maybe catch NASA out of position here for a free headshot. But he is saved by Royd coming up and hitting that position out. And now the breach begins. It is 5v9. Grenade going up, wounding those guys. However, ground command is engaging. We're going to have Blue 4 close the gap here. That Bradley's going to start looking over, potentially catching these two guys out of position. Maybe it's going to hit NASA. More grenades coming in. That's allowing Op4 to try to push around here. You got Blue 4 watching this one vector, but he wasn't preparing for Op4 to vault the area. And now you might see a shot here. No, he doesn't look up because he doesn't hear him. He's climbing up the ladder now. And he just noticed that that dude's up there. But he didn't hear the ladder. Now I think he heard them. And now he's getting shot. And now... Fuck's sake. So Op4's done a really good job deploying a shit ton of smoke here to cover themselves. It's now 5v... No, one of the Op4 guys appears to have... No, he's coming around. Never mind. So it's 5v8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. Oh, one of them just got knocked out. Webler was able to take on Goatland here, who's at -1. He's the guy that grenaded. Wait. Fuck's sake. Op4 still taking their time to get here. You just had Weber pick off someone else. And now it is 3v8. AT just came in and potentially hit a dude. Might have been the RPG, yep. And Royd is now getting engaged from someone at the base of the tower there. Still could go either way, but Blue 4 is definitely in the more defensive positions here. Now you hear that 113 getting mounted. Royd again taking more fire. He might also get in the 113 and try to drive in. And we have NASA here who's pushing this compound. He's trying to find an angle. He could potentially get up here and throw some grenades over if he PIDs at that groups there, but this red smoke grenade that's billowed out. We do have an AT4 guy right here. And he's gotten on the turret and he's looking up at the compound itself. Might try to see these dudes. But if Blue 4 were to step out, they just don't have a good angle here to engage him, though. So I wonder if he decides to go down and hit it. But now that he's pulling out, he might have a good, decent shot with that AT4. So he plays a bit of bumper cars. Here we go. Webler, get your second kill here. Or he's going to wait for him to pop out so he can salvage the vehicles, because if that blows up, it's going to blow up the other things, but... I don't know. It's a weird call. And you got one dude in the compound itself. And at this point, just rush the objective. There's the AT4 shot, and it takes out... Oh my god. I don't think that means it's getting destroyed. Now you got Sacred running up around it, but that's now made this position a lot harder to cover. Oh my god. Blue 4 now trying to pick off NASA as he's running up. He quickly jumps back, takes a little bit of fall damage for that. I mean, I'm not sure if that counts as destroy, but it's pretty much filled. Oh my god. I don't know if that counts. I don't know. Still NASA back here. Someone that was aggroed on him. It is, what, 2v1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But one of them is inoperable because he's working on the 8th guy. OFCRA, meanwhile, now redeploying, potentially to go hit this position. Blue 4 has redeployed to come on this spot. Might run to Sierra. Sorry, I heard gunshots right there. Let me quickly go back. Oh my god. Now my mouse. That might have just been ground command. Sacred killed right there. Let me check real quick on the roster. Yep, that was flip for flap. So Blue 4 ground command is dead. And Sacred was able to get away with that without getting picked off. So Blue 4's chain of command has now been severed. Now it's up to the squads to carry out the remainder of the plan. And now you have a lot of Blue 4 guys finally coming in. I really don't know why this QRF wasn't coming in earlier. It is now 2v6. The Blue 4 trying their best to find some angles here, but they need that extra manpower to come in. And we might have another engagement here between OFCRA and Blue 4 forces for this little hill. Once again, I really, this AO has just been a matter of Blue 4 has put themselves at really awkward positions. And OFCRA has taken advantage of them just by luck of the draw. Alright, so I believe this is going to be our next battle, little line of combat. If they start flashing white over there, that means that they are taken. But they just saw Mr. Dave, that's why they went guns up. Mr. Dave did not spot them. No one spotted this OFCRA group going around. Mad Max might be able to take his gun and turn around and get a headshot. Now we go, here we go. Shots going out. One Blue 4 guy down. Mad Max getting up too quickly. OFCRA slaughtering 3 dudes on the open. This Bradley right here ready to go. One of them getting double tapped. These guys have AT, they do. From Han here. But OFCRA getting a lot of free kills now. So even though Blue 4 had the advantage early on, they just didn't press it properly. And now people are getting shot to shit. Good grenade throw right there. It's a smoke, though. If that was a frag, that probably would have killed Garrett there. OFCRA has to hear that Bradley coming up. Where is that AT? Han is ready to go. Smokes are going out, though. He needs to reposition and be aggressive about this. Potentially, I just heard some more gunfire up there. Bradley might try to come around. We see the DMR from up in the tower firing on this position. Bradley might just try to double tap Mad Max. This Bradley pushing out on its own is a really bad idea. AT's gonna get a shot on it, and there it is. There's not gonna be any, oh wait, no, it is black smoking, but I think that's engine smoke. There's not gonna be any cook-off. He might try to get in the back right here and shoot the driver in the ass. That's exactly what he's gonna, no? Oh, okay. Autocannon now firing at Garrett from the rear. Jonathan getting out. He's going to catch UN. Oh, my God. Bluck now needs to hit Jonathan. There it is. Rigel now hitting PHK, and OFCRA has successfully taken this tower and knocked out one of the Bradleys. And more OFCRA forces are coming in as well. Both of those guys knocked out. I think OFCRA only took 1 KIA from this group. No, just one guy that went down, and they're double tapping. More AT going up on that Bradley, trying to get the cook off. I don't believe that's the case there. We are having the 2S5 now firing into this tower from range. That was the sound of those cannons hitting off, and they managed to knock out one of these guys. You just heard the penetrating sound of the AP rounds that tank can use. I'm trying to look for it now. But that's definitely tank rounds that are coming in to hit it. Here she is. Yep, so smoke just went off. You just saw the tracer go out on it too. And it is hitting this position from range to try to get some free kills because they still have a guy with an LR coordinating. You have this Not with a DMR trying to get some shots on OFCRA down there. And I think we just had an OFCRA guy get knocked out because I don't see him on the roster anymore. That would have been the guy that killed Flip for Flat. So it is now 1v3 up here. And Blue Force still hasn't dedicated units to go back and said they're going to try to counterattack this group coming up. What needs to happen now is these two Humvees, one of them is a tow, one of them is a 50 cal, they need to take the long way around, come up on the northern side of this OPFOR force and try to get behind the tank and take it out. But OPFOR has done really well bouncing back from that BTR loss. And NASA could also potentially get some free kills up here. I don't know. This could still go either way, but OPFOR's definitely come back from the brink there in the beginning with that devastating loss, but I don't see how Blue 4 can reposition here. They're not pushing infantry. Hearing that tank go off, but I don't know what they're going to try to do. They're going to have to get in close. I would say it would be better if the Bradley were to come up and try to get on the highest hill it can and look around with the tow, or get an infantry guy out to look with binos to spot for the Bradley. Let's give him a warm welcome, shall we? Yeah, so man, he's died. Marksman's still doing his best. Nop here trying to get some marksman shots on this OPFOR team that's come up. And you're still hearing that tank engaging that from range. We actually see a fourth Blue 4 guy up now. I wasn't checking the Overwatch position here, but one of them did get picked off. Either from the tank or from, I would assume it was the tank, because otherwise this guy would be trying to hit NASA and probably coordinate with these guys. See, but it makes sense why Blue 4 is so stagnant right now, because their ground commander's down. Sorry, I had to sneeze. But Blue 4 redeploying right here on this rock face. There is a fortification right here, but I think OPFOR knows about that one spot. Vehicle is out in the open, but no one's looking in that direction. Except maybe... Yeah, I think OPFOR might have just spotted him. Yep, he spotted the that vehicle. He does have an LR, so now he could potentially tell that tank to go and flank. Is he trying to check if this Bradley... Nope, he's running past it. I was thinking maybe he could get in the Bradley and strike it, but I also know they're, in the special rules, they're not allowed to mount each other's, vehicles, that are more advanced. So, like, Bradley's, OPFOR can't get in the Bradleys, Blue 4 can't get in the BMDs or the tank. Or technically the tank destroyer, because it's, a BMD model on top of, with a tank gun on it. So now you have the tank using its coax to try to pick off this marksman, but the rounds are landing short. But that landed very close to Mr. Marksman up here. Oh. And he's still staying up there. He's like, yeah, just a tank round. Don't worry about it. Another round going in, going low. The balls on some of these Blue 4 guys to stay in here despite this thing getting penetrated by tank rounds here. I mean, just the sheer audacity. Here, let's see if I can see another round come in. Yeah, so it's landing. So it's actually landing in the little platform between these two. That's why it's not doing any damage to him. They're hitting the worst spot in the tower to hit by sheer luck. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure Beef would be taking some damage of some sort. So you still have NASA trying to maneuver around. He's still looking high to make sure that this position isn't coming up. He could get up here, listen for those footsteps, and lob some grenades over. But he doesn't want to get flanked by Blue 4 other forces in here. And unfortunately, that guy's also bled out. And now we have a position, actually an opportunity for Blue 4 to get enveloped here. Op 4, they've come in, they've started capturing this one position. That's a good call. And we also have this Bradley up here, using its camera and its gunner, and they are doing their best to look around, trying to use this line of fire. I'll be curious to see if that Bradley will potentially start engaging the units down there if they get an angle on them. Ooh, hold up. Weber might have spotted NASA right here and is trying to find an angle on him. No, he's looking out with his ACOG, thinking that Op 4 is coming by. I'm really surprised he didn't spot NASA, but it's just luck of the draw there. So I think this Blue 4 group is trying to hunt for the tank. However, Op 4 might know about it. But then again, that Vic is looking in the direction of Blue 4 there. 2S25 moving up. Blue 4 right next to it. It's just a question of, will Blue 4 AT make a move on it? Ooh, we got an AT4 right here. Takes the shot. I think it hit the tree, though, unfortunately. Now the 2S25... takes a stop. Deer in the headlights look goes, what was that? Oh, it must have been my imagination. So it's a Skyrim reference. I got Blue 4 moving up. Meanwhile, Op 4, it looks like they've demoed that Bradley. I don't know if that was their own Bradley cooking it off, or... No, it was their BMD firing on it. There wasn't really a need for that there. That was a bit of a miscommunication. But now Blue 4 is trying to close the gap on that 2S25 to try to take it out. That 2S25, it's just marauding around. That's not a place it wants to be. But now you have the other BMD starting to fire machine gun into this infantry group. It's been spotted. They need to switch to HE rounds. It's the... Wow, it's the fucking coax on the fucking... This is like never ever used in Arma Ops, period, and it actually just managed to spot the infantry squad. I don't know why this gunner isn't turning to engage with HE. It actually just wounded somebody. That thing has, like, no magnified optic either. I'm really impressed it's actually hit someone. Let alone spotted someone, too. That's crazy. Thank you for the 5-minute delay sneeze, right? Wow. Again, I don't know why that gunner isn't turning right now. Engine just came on. Maybe they'll try to maneuver on him. It just got his second kill on the AT guy. And the 2S25 just exploded. What the fuck is going on? And you got these two Op 4 guys coming in to try to clear the gap here. I think they just double tapped, or that, or... No, Dahlgren is dead. You got Lofa now pushing up to potentially hit those guys. He killed one of them. Now Blue 4 is turning around to deal with this Op 4 force pushing up. But what is going on? Got another Blue 4 guy that just went wounded. And now it's two dudes right here with some Op 4 guys swinging around. And now you got those two Humvees that have repositioned, but it's too little too late at this point. And now you got Ziki pulling back with guns up. And now he's firing at Lofa, but can't seem to land a shot. Did get a few hits, though, but none of them were fatal. Crippled Lofa, though, so that gives him some room to escape. Lofa's regrouping with Nick. But Nick is desyncing around a little bit. I cannot believe that that thing got kills with the fucking... with the fucking win... I don't even know what to call it. Just the baby coax on the side. Like, honestly, when would that be used? I don't even know. Lofa's now alone. I don't know what happened to the other guy. I didn't see if he crashed or not. He could have, or he just got dropped, but I don't know. Blue 4 is just getting their ass kicked now. They had the right idea and then just repositioned their guys, and it's folded back ever since. We just got to make sure that OPFOR doesn't blue on blue their own dudes now, but I don't see how OPFOR can turn this around. Meanwhile, NASA's down to dude in here. There's not only 2 Blue 4 dudes in here. How many kills is he on? He's on 1 kill. So I don't know if he downed someone, but this position is pretty much secure. The other guy up here died, so I'm willing to bet he might have hit him on the side. Because there were 4 dudes up here, now there's only 2. Interesting. Lofa bleeding out. I don't think he was shot. No, he was shot. He's got some blood right here, indicating that he was hit a few times. So Ziki probably got him. A grenade went up on him as well. And Matto, nope, Ziki gets the double tap. And we still have Joel over here, but OPFOR is now porking around to try to get him. Blue 4 just... Wow. I thought they had an advantage with killing the 6 EMR guy, EME guys early, but it's completely blown up in their face. This is actually... I don't... It's not incredible. It's actually kind of sad. Because Blue 4 has gotten pretty much fucked at this point. Oops, sorry. I mean, what do we still have in the roster here? We got Pogo, who is the one guy in Bravo right there. We've got the the Bradley crew over here. We've got Nop, who's alone. Everyone else in his squad is dead. He's the marksman. We got Weber, who is, again, everyone in his group is dead. We got the Humvees outside. And then we've got Joel and Beth, who stayed in here, but Joel is still out and about. And then OPFOR, I mean, the 6 EME guys left, but everyone else, I mean, there's just been 2 KIAs here. Hoyt, who was also on his own, who was a BTR guy, he died and left. And then, I mean, just the numbers. Blue 4 literally is at a 2-to-1 disadvantage right now. We just had the toe go off. Toe is now striking at the Oscar group. I don't know where that toe went. But Ilpep is down. Sirius praying for his life, but he is still getting struck here. Ooh. Look at where these rounds are going. They're going right over his fucking head. Ooh, ow, the coax gets him. I think they have thermals and there was just a clipping issue behind that bush for them to still see him. But few free kills for Blue 4 is good. And now you're having the BMD fire machine gun out on the Bravo guy, who was skylining on one of those rocks. Bradley now pushing out. Could be caught out of position by that BMD, though. But the BMD is now mobile. Hold up. No, it's spotted the BMD, and it's trying to engage it. I have no idea what blew up that 2S25, by the way. It sounded like demo, but I don't know how. Got Joel potentially going to run up and hit some of these OPFOR guys here, but he is greatly outnumbered. Maybe he'll channel the inner spirit of Adriano. It's had a Carl Gustav round land somewhere. I have no idea where. And now you got some of these OPFOR guys pushing out to potentially engage up there where the one guy is and the Bradley crew is. And again, those Humvees, too little too late. They're not going to be useful at this point. NASA now trying to engage what he can. He was firing off in a different direction. We got a lot of blood right here. That's from the top area. And he might hear the footsteps of the other guy outside the compound engaging him. I got this one guy, Chad here, Joel. He's got a BTR literally pushing right up to him. He's going to regress in the bush a little bit. As that BTR literally drives up next to him. Oh my god. Oh, that is funny. Quinn's right here looking around like, yeah, everything looks good. It's A-okay. There's no naked people near my BTR. Why would that be a thing? Little do they know. Jesus. I'm surprised I'm not seeing any brown spots in Joel's underwear right there. If I was in his shoes. Should a javelin go off? But it landed short. Were they... Where was that? What? No, that was the tow gunner from the BMD-2 trying to hit the guy on the tower. Hold up. Seal getting shot dead. Joel getting a double kill right there. Throws a grenade. Now he's going to try to run off. He's going to get a pick-off kill on the commander right there. No, he does not. He got caught in a reload. 2 free kills for Blue 4 right there. Pops a smoke grenade. Commander's now getting out, wondering what the hell's going on. Oh my god. Joel, good job. Picked off 2 dudes. Tried to get the commander killed. Made them dismount the BTR, and now he's pulling away. That was a great strategy. Needs to get a little more distance, though, because now OPFOR is going to wonder what the fuck just happened and potentially push him back. There we go. Just come around and then re-attack that position from a different vector. This is perfect. This is absolutely perfect what he's doing. Meanwhile, it looks like that one Blue 4 guy was killed by the OPFOR groups coming up. Bradley is now pulling back. NASA still alone with those 2 guys on Blue 4 holding that position. And QRF team in the rear right now, but they're dismounted trying to look around. I don't think they're going to be useful anymore. And Joel pulling away with those 2 free kills. I want to see... Yep, no, he's hiding in a bush now. He might reposition from a different spot, but that was a great, great drop right there. Showing us that Blue 4 still has some of those advanced tactics that they're using, you know? Drop 2 guys, run away, live with those 2 free kills. It's absolutely incredible. Bradley moving away now. You got OPFOR. Matt here chasing it down with an RPG, but he probably has more ammo for that thing. But the Bradley... Oh, it could be cut off. Matt's going to have a really good shot on it in a second. There it is. Hits it right in the engine in the rear. Actually, the engine for the Bradley's in the front. My bad. That's the APC cabin. So minimal damage there, unfortunately. Second RPG misses. But they do have a guy dead in there. Because on my roster, yeah, so Roland the Gunner is dead. But Callie is still driving that. That's why it's not appearing on my interface now. RPG comes up, it is a miss. But knocking out the Gunner is good enough. I cannot believe NASA's still alive up here. There's been a kill, by the way, up there. It's now 1-1, but NASA doesn't know that. He's bandaging, so he might have gotten in a gunfight with that guy. Now, for those 2 points for the Supremacy victory, it's not going to matter for Blue 4 because I'm pretty sure this is a 6-man group. It could be a 5-man now, though. Nope, it is a 5-man. So 1, 2, yep. If they kill every other Blue 4 guy in the AO, they will get those points. But I did just see some flashes over here. That's the BTR potentially firing in this direction. Maybe it spotted Joel here. He's on his 3rd kill, so he might have actually picked off another OPFOR dude up here. Let's have a quick look. So we have Eldberg right here. Checking his 2S25. Yeah, so I think Blue 4 actually hit that tank because Nubass is dead right there. But yeah, so we have Steel and Clacker. Oh no, Clacker's dead right here, so maybe he was picked off by Joel at that angle. Yeah, that supports it. So yeah, Joel trying to play guerrilla war right there, getting a bunch of free kills, and meanwhile this Bradley, I think, is trying to push back to friendlies. I'm willing to bet it still fully works, it's just the gunner was picked off from that one RPG shot. Now we got OPFOR coming up, but OPFOR is pretty much going to win if they demo that bunker and then just set up a defensive in the cyber station, which they already do. So Blue 4, very unlikely to win. It's going to be a very nasty uphill battle. And OPFOR still has both of their BMDs. I don't think it's going to work. OPFOR is sending more guys up here to try to find where Blue 4 is in that regard. OPFOR sending QRF to Tempest Bunker to root out Sir Nop and anyone else that might be up there, and Blue 4 is just on the outside at this point. So OPFOR, they have the manpower advantage, they have the gear advantage with 2 BMDs over 1, which only has the driver in it. I really don't see how Blue 4 can pull around on this, because sure, we could have Joel here do an Audrey Hotto and get 20 kills, but he still has to fight BMDs. So unless he's going to kill some RPG guys that haven't burnt their ammo, which, by the way, a lot of them have at this point, he's not going to be able to get the kills on the BTR-80 or the BMDs, and he'll probably just get picked off by autocannon, unfortunately. But I'm still going to root for him. I mean, 3 kills in his situation, being fucking naked, which just means he's glitched out on our interface, but he might be naked for other people too, is awesome. But he's about to run up into 3 OPFOR dudes right here, and that is not a firefight he wants to play on. Oh my god, no way. He heard the footsteps. Yes, he's reacting to those footsteps immediately. But he could get behind them and take them out. Alright, Joel. Nice and easy. Oh no, he was just spotted by Matt. He takes Matt out though, but Joel is crippled. Massa here and Ziki are now coming around trying to figure out what happened. Joel is in trouble here. He's crippled, so he's just gone prone, but he is going to be bleeding. There's no medic, so he's got to be really conservative about his blood supply, but he is in the thicket here. He's not trying to run away, though. He knows there were multiple sets of footsteps, though. So this gives OPFOR an advantage to push around and flank him to the rear. Joel has no choice but to try to bandage. You got one of the OPFOR guys right there, as you just saw, but the other one's going to start flanking around. Ziki is probably going to get the tap here. We also have Mr. Cool coming up. He's a crewman. Ziki now looking around. Joel's going to rely on hearing those footsteps. Sees Mr. Cool, drops Mr. Cool, but unfortunately gets flanked by Ziki. Ziki on his 2nd kill now, but Joel getting 4 kills on his own, I mean, that's commendable. Especially being one of the last guys in the AO, but that's gonna be it for that group. Now it's up to OPFOR to sweep Tempest Bunker here and kill Nob here, but Nob doesn't realize he's got OPFOR guys right on top of him. So OPFOR, if they just take their time and breach, I mean, hell, they could just come in here, make sure this is demoed, and leave. But I don't see how OPFOR is gonna, excuse me, Blue 4 is gonna come back on this. We got Callie here, who, yep, he kicked out the dead gunner, and he's on the gunner himself. He's solo crewing this. But OPFOR pretty much has this in the bag, and we still have 43 minutes to go based off that. Ay. I don't know, maybe Nob here will get a multi-kill. Hear them coming and just hit him in the back of the head with his DMR. Discord link is dead. Thank you for letting me know. I will make sure it's updated next time. Sometimes that's the second time their Discord links died on me, so I'll be sure to try to fix it. I'll just make my own probably and try to make that work. But thank you for letting me know, Slim. Alright, I have no idea how Blue 4 is going to bounce back. Op 4, they have this bunker location secured. We've got an AT guy with AT4 ready to look on that spot. 2 AT4s actually primed on that entrance in case people come by, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see something crazy with these 5 guys and the tow Humvee they have with the 50 cal Crows Humvee, but it's not likely. Overall, I think this has been an interesting round, though. Just Blue 4 spread themselves out too much. They weren't at proper angles, and all this happened. Op 4 was able to, you know, push along the route, which was intercepted. If Op 4 kept their guys up here with that Bradley in a defensive position, they could have probably murked the rest of that convoy. But Op 4 just did a 2-rocket breach, firing into here and firing up here, knowing that that was the second route covered. So they might find that body and think they actually got someone with it. But now we're going to start seeing the breach. Yeah, so they just double-tapped the body right there. Now you got Quebec running up. Yeah. He still has the scope on the gun, too. I would have taken that off and hidden the corner right there, because one of the last places most people check is right behind the stairwell there. So they're immediately grabbing his rifle, and they're just going to secure that, but that's it. Like, I don't... Blue 4 has no choice now in order to tie, of all things. They have to kill all of 5 or less. They have to leave all of, how would I word this? Basically, 5 or less Op 4 guys have to be alive for them to score the 2 points for supremacy, and they also have to capture the Cyber Command Center for 3 points, because it's 5 points to either keep this place alive or to blow it up for each side, depending on, you know, Blue 4 keeps it alive, Op 4 has to destroy it. But that's pretty much destroyed because they have all of that around it, and it's inside the texture, which I, you know, would assume counts. I just don't see it. We have a table clipping into that ammo box right there. That's pretty cute. Now they're shooting at the air conditioner. I think the air conditioner looked at log funny. That, or they think that might be the thing they have to demo for the position, but it's supposed to be the bunker itself. I don't know. Maybe the air conditioner insulted his mother. I don't know. Russian is not my it's not a language I know too well. Now they're shooting their own dude. Oh, okay. Maybe he insulted his mother? Maybe? Possibly? I don't know. Okay. Cool. Things. I don't know what to go with that. Otherwise, we see Blue 4 potentially going to get on this SSR and push in. The Bradley's also pushed in over here, trying to find a little bit of overwatch, potentially fire into that castle position. But I'm going to look for flashing white here on the units and try to go from there. No, they're gonna continue going along the flank. I also love how we have the one eye right there. That's me spectating. But I don't know. I mean, 2 BMDs guarding that one position, a solo crewed Bradley, these 2 Vics deciding not to push in. They're going to keep trying to, orbit around. It's just going to whittle the clock down. There's nothing left. That's one of the small things about having the longer PvP ops. It's, you'll get into some of these situations from time to time, and it just creates a lot of time where people just sit around and make sure that their bases are covered if they're the winning side. But if they're the losing side, they'll just keep trying to do their tactics, hoping they can get something. But at this point, I mean, just look at all the skulls you have right here, and you got one group, Foxtrot, on their own, and then one of the vehicle crews for Cali right here for Bravo. And then look at all the OPFOR guys varied in a lot of different spots here. So, there's a lot that Blue 4 would have to do. But I just don't see Blue 4 getting it done. I don't know. Now it's the question of, do I still stream or do I just call it here? I want to give Blue 4 the benefit of the doubt here, but I don't. Whoa. As I say that, we've got Blue 4's Bradley here opening up on the tower. It's actually firing on the left flank down here, trying to get a kill on, I believe, Facts might have come up here and gotten spotted by that Bradley there. I think Nop came back on the server. He's dead, though, so I think he's just going to chill. Because that would be cheating if he came back, took a vehicle in, because this is supposed to be 1 life. But, I mean, if they can coordinate, when I say they, I mean OPFOR, if they can coordinate where that Bradley is, a BMD2 could easily just come around and hit it with a tow. But OPFOR is just going to be a bit more defensive around that Tempest bunker location. And now we wait. So anyway, guys, just to bring things up in, let's see, it's 5:30 right now. So in 2.5 hours, we will have another Zeus operation for Paw Patrol. It is phase 5 or 6. I've actually lost track. But we're continuing their Serrani campaign. They're going to be basically clearing through 2 military bases to find a VIP to eliminate him. And then we have the TM op at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard, which if the Paw Patrol op doesn't run over, we'll cover that. When I say cover, I mean I'll just play in it until I get bored of it. But still have 30 minutes and 3 minutes on the clock. 33 minutes. Excuse me. But I don't see how Blue 4 would come in. I don't know. So we do hear that BMD driving off. We got the BTR up here on the hill. Looking in the direction of the castle. We got a bunch of dead Blue 4 guys around. Overall, I think OPFOR did really well on the skirmish level. you know, at the squad v squad level, because they were able to basically, you know, like this hill position right here, they were able to get right on top of it and engage it. Op4 really succeeded. Blue 4 overestimated Op4's abilities and decided to go and try to overwatch everything in an attempt to catch Op4 out of position as they were maneuvering up to Blue 4 to engage, and thus Blue 4 would be able to snipe out Op4 as they came up. But Op4 did a really good job just maneuvering onto Blue 4's positions without Blue 4 realizing it. That happened up on the castle. That happened right here. And it happened to that one guy that was alone up on the ridgeline over there. So Op4 did a really good job maneuvering. Blue 4 kind of... how would I put it? They just weren't expecting Op4 to be that good at maneuvering, and that's what bit them in the ass. They didn't have any close security. They kept all their security elements looking outward when they should have been looking closer. But unfortunately, a BMD pulled up into the compound, and the Bradley has gotten a free BMD kill. No infantry death, though. How do you screw that up at that point? Maybe they were trying to bait it out because now we're seeing this BTR pushing around. I think it has eyes on. But now that other BMD needs to come around and engage. It's still looking the wrong way. But we have one guy that's dismounted looking, and he's going to go run up and RPG it, I bet. But I'm really surprised. Are you firing out with 14 point... would 14.5 penetrate a Bradley? I doubt it. You still see those tracers going off over there, but... I mean, Callie, if he can do that again and kill the other BMD, he would have a significant advantage. And we could see Blue 4 potentially turn this around. But it's only going to work if he coordinates with that other group. We'll have to see. I do like how Op4 is trying to proactively hunt this Bradley, but I do like how Callie is doing his best to play both driver and gunner here. He's basically acting as a remote deployable turret, finding positions, engaging what he can, and then pulling away, knowing that Op4 might try to chase him down. So now he's on this roaming hill over here, looking in the direction where Op4 might try to chase him down. So he knows what he's doing. But we have... it's now below the 30-minute mark. We'll see how things go. Op4, though, they might have some infantry eyes on this vehicle. I'm not sure if Falcon here... not related to TSB Falcon, by the way. He might have seen it. Mills might have seen it as well. They might try to envelop that Bradley if it gets too comfortable. Falcon's running for it. Oh my gosh. Let's give him a warm he's trying to run up to RPG it. Now he's got to be careful because if that thing has its engine off, it might just turn it back on, because when the gun moves, it turns it back on. He might be able to hear the BTR coming up. Looks in Falcon's direction, but the pine trees cover him. Oh, I just heard the engine come on as if he might drive. Yep, he just switched to driver's seat. He's now going to drive up. Falcon might be able to get a shot on it. Mills, I don't think, has any AT. No, he does have an RPG-26. Will he take the shot? Misses! It just goes right over the back of the rim. RPG comes in. It is also a miss. Callie now trying to drive defensive. What is this? Falcon, don't risk it. Don't risk it. Yep. You're not Eander. Now you got the 14.5 trying to penetrate into the Bradley. Might have done some damage on that gun, because now that gun's looking down. Desperately trying to smoke. More 14.5 coming in. Now it's switched the gun, it's going to completely take out that BTR. What did you think was going to happen? That thing has a fucking 25mm Bushmaster. It's going to rip your BTR apart. Falcon's still being persistent. He might be able to get a shot now. He's got a tandem warhead, though, so he has to account for it if he's going to hit it from range. But he can run up behind this rock and take it out. And the BTR crew is dead. Okay, Falcon. Don't miss. Come on. You have all the time in the world here. Come on. He's going for the rear, but the engine itself is actually in the front, so a tandem isn't going to do too much. But then again, if he fires it in... Alright, come on. Yeah, you hit the APC on the rear. It did penetrate in the gun. They just drive away. Again, Bradleys don't have the engine in the back. They have it in the front. So Falcon's like, wait a second. I just hit it with AT. Why is it still driving? What's going on? Something's off. Alright, meanwhile you hear these Humvees here. The Crow appears to be firing up into the tower. Really long-range shots here. It was firing into a Stolen 1-3. Actually scored a kill. Nice. So Blue Forge trying to get some licks in here, and it's actually quite hilarious how they're doing it. But I would assume a tow rocket into this would, you know, blow it up and kill some people around here, so that would be pretty nice. I can't believe they fucked that up. I mean, now you have the BMD coming in. That'll be able to hit the Brab. They're being very defensive about it. You just heard autocannon fire go off because they're hitting the Humvee. What is this? Carl Gustav's gotten out. He's trying to find an angle on it. If OFCRA wastes all their manpower trying to kill Blue 4's units, they might actually even this hop out for the remaining Blue 4 group to come in, and we will see one of the biggest clutches I've ever witnessed in PvP history. BMD now maneuvering around, and the rest of this defense group is heading to Cyber Command. Alright. The BMD still has no idea. So again, you gotta give these guys credit because they're locked in first person. It's really hard to keep up comms here. This thing's gonna drive right up to it, I bet. Or the BMD might come down. I don't know. This is funny. Okay. Hey. Maybe. Maybe. He doesn't have Defilade down there to look at that, though. Where's the communication with the BMD to say, hey, it's right in front of you? Oh my god. Carl Gustav! I think it was short! I don't see any damage! What? Real quick, just to look back over here. They've got everyone chilling around in this bunker. I'm genuinely impressed that this has gone on for so long. Now you've got the Crow firing into the compound. No kills in the barn, but with that Crow being protected, it's going to be really hard for OFCRA to get any kills off of it. This range for AT RPGs is also going to be really difficult. But that Bradley needs to come around and assist, but by this thing having hijinks and pulling the BMD away, that's bought Blue for the potential to actually come in here and take this back. Because all of OFCRA is in these two groups, so realistically, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, because 2 are in the BMD. If Blue 4 gets 9 kills, they could actually tie, and that's really scary to think about. You just had the Toe fire into here as well, getting a kill. So now 8. We still have less than 20 minutes on the clock. But I don't know what to say. What has happened? Bradley now coming in. These guys are doing a hit and run here. Now Bradley's right there. AT was picked up. Shot went out. It's another miss. God, it feels like TSP Amateur Hour. We have an OG Warhead load. That's not going to do anything to a Bradley. Another miss. Firing back. And he's out of ammo now for the RPG. Wait. It's another miss. Why? Why don't you just I can't. Wait. Wait, was that a hit? No, but that was the OG Warhead. It doesn't do anything to a tank. That's an HE Warhead. Wait. Oh, that got him! That killed Callie! Okay. Okay, it's over. The reign of the Bradley is over. Callie is dead. And remember, OFCRA can't steal the vehicle. Now they're using all of their... Jesus Christ, 4 rockets just went out and killed the Bradley. That's severely compromised the HE capability. Excuse me, the AT capability of OFCRA here. We still have 5 dudes that could come in, but now it is official. OFCRA has 2 supremacy points. So that would mean they have 7 total. Blue 4 cannot win at this point. Because if they were to take Cyber Command, that's 3 points. If they were to knock out all of 5 OFCRA guys, that would give them 2 more, so that's 5. There's no way they can get that extra 2. So it's It is safe to officially call GG at this point. Less than 17 minutes remaining. I'm going to be honest, I'm actually glad I didn't call it early because Blue 4 has gotten a lot of crazy hijinks out of the way. But I can't believe this. It took OFCRA literally just like 8 more warheads. I just can't believe it. Blue 4 has to make a move soon, though. It's going to quickly be the 15-minute mark. Maybe the AI aren't that stupid. It's really just players in their blind spots. You can tell when forces don't cooperate because there's no coordination between them in assets like these, and it screws them. What the fuck? How did... Hold on. Wait. What? He wasn't there a second ago, was he? Or maybe I'm just hallucinating. I don't know. Falcon just got kicked off. He was one of the guys still alive. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's now more up for guys. What? There goes Mr. Cool. Less than 15 minutes for Blue 4 to make an opportunity here. They've got time to play this a little more cautious for another 5 to 10, but after that, they're going to have to charge in and get things done. I don't know. I could see Blue 4 getting the remaining 2 points because it's 5v15 right now, so it's a 1-to-3 ratio on OFCRA. But Blue 4, they still have a tow Humvee and they still have a Crow's Humvee with an HMG, so could do something. And we're seeing more of that long-range engagement from the M2, trying to pick off and get some free kills. So it fired at Lalo here, trying to penetrate that wall. But it might not get around here. So we're just trying to see if they're able to get off any pick-off kills here. Cool's probably going to fold back into this AO. Mills the same way. I'm really surprised they're not trying to get the BMD to come around, but they've been kind of slow today, let's be honest. Because pulling that BMD around, if they had good coordination with Lalo, for example, Lalo could watch for any ATGMs that get fired. Stands for anti-tank guided missile, which is what the toes would fire. And then that way it could pull back and not get hit by it, but still, you know, deliver autocannon rounds up there. So let's do another head count real quick. 3 of them have run off over there. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, so 16 now. I just keep miscounting. All right. Where I've seen some guys try to fire back, but the rounds are landing way short. That 50 cal is going to have a lot more muzzle velocity. Lalo almost getting hit right there. I don't see any blood, but that was very close. Blue 4 on this hill. We just heard the ATGM fire into the building. Knocking, actually getting a kill. It just knocked everything around and fucking buried this one dude. I don't know if he died to the missile or to physics. I mean, if it works, right? Nico looks like got hit by the 50. Oh my god. What is up with the hijinks today? Rocket just came in on Nico. He was in cover, thankfully. Now you're seeing the 50 fire off, knocking out Fact. Why is OFCRA just running units around? And they just killed another dude! Keyholed him through the little bunker! What is this? Why isn't the bit... I don't know. I don't know anymore. Oh, God. So what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10... possibly 11. I think they're trying to blow up the VIX to get some more kills in here. But that was what, like 5 dudes by my count? I don't even know. This is... Oh, I agree. Callie did really well with that Bradley, but the heck is this going right now, man? Like, damn. What? You know, rather than mocking this, I think this is actually a really good case study in just confusion. OFCRA, I guess, doesn't... Because Lalo's gotten in that BMD himself, and he's giving them orders now, or taking direct control of it. But I guess, even though we've seen some of OFCRA engage where Blue 4 was, other parts of OFCRA do not understand what's going on. Cobra might just bled out and got knocked unconscious there, but wow. Honestly, like, this is one of those elements of PvP people don't think about. Do we just have someone else get picked off in here? No? Okay. Alright. I thought I saw someone disappear. But now it's 5v9 now, yeah. With less than 9 minutes remaining. Actually, 5v10. Cool is still down there on his own. BMD now pulling around. 50 cal coming up. I don't think that's going to pen. They need the ATGM to hit it. But that would give them an advantage here. But now it's firing back, and now Blue 4 is in trouble. There goes the ATGM. And there goes the BMD. So ATGM smoking now. No one on Blue 4 was killed for it, though. Oh, no, they lost the gunner. But they're still on 5 people. So it's been between 5 and 6 guys in this group. I always thought it was 5, but... I mean, 1 dude for the BMD to let them push up in the 50 cal Humvee is a good trade. But, wow. This is getting close. 8 minutes remaining. Just had Cobra shoot with his handgun at police, I guess. Freaking out right there. So when the tracer changes from red to green to blue, that means it's losing muzzle velocity, which means it's not as deadly as it would be in the previously mentioned colored bracket. Technically, with Arma, the more muzzle velocity you get with a gun, combined with the caliber, equates to how much damage the gun actually does. But up past a certain point, you will overpen, which when you're engaging vehicles and stuff, you'll actually do less. It's a complicated ratio. But yeah, so that crow's up here trying to look for an angle to engage. Bearing down on Nico again. These guys just have to sit tight and wait it out. Love how we have Mills running up, but at this point, it's just a sit-down game. Six minutes. I think it's nice that Mills is running up to try to engage them, but he's the only medic remaining. So would you really want your medic to run up to do that? Meanwhile, Blue 4, they have mounted up 4 guys in the vehicle, 1 guy still on Overwatch. What's he overwatching with, though? Oh, he's got a DMR too, so he'll try to get some pickoff kills, but he can also walk that group in. So it's going to be like 4v9, 4v10. Wow, they just hit that and did a little bit of engine damage right there. And they also found the MRAP here. I'll be curious to see if it's still operable. Yeah, they hit the rocks, so we see some guys bandaging. I mean, if this MRAP were to still be usable, that would actually be pretty helpful. They'd have 2 50 cals to assault. And I think they're mounting. It's also more protected than the Crows, but the Crows would still be nice to use. And now you have Mills running up Lone Wolf style here, and I think he's going to try to hit some dudes. He also has a RSGH AT, and he just picked off Fleece. Getting that AT out. That's a thermobaric round, so not really AT related. Does a massive explosion. Yeah, so Mad Wolf took some damage from that. Mills is now firing at the Vic. That Vic is good, but he made that other one smoke. Less than 5 minutes remaining. And I got Mad Wolf mounting up in the back. And now you're going to have 3 people assault this objective, which there's only 5 guys defending, 2 guys in a bunker far off. I could still see Blue 4 come around here. AT hits the MRAP, but the MRAP's protected against that shit. More RPGs going out. That one was a miss. The gunners turned in. Oh, that was a Carl Gustav round by NASA, I believe. Manchote and Mr. White jumping out. Mad Wolf might still be alive, just waiting to jump out. That also blew up the fuel Vic. Yeah, you got a lot of stuff that sprayed out of those windows. Explosion just crippled Lalo, excuse me. You got these Vics now cooking off on the side. Mancott is also crippled. That marksman, there's no way in hell he's going to be able to get into this AO. We have less than 3 minutes remaining. NASA's going to pick off Manshot right here. He is using a stolen marksman rifle from Nod, and he put an ACOG scope on it, so that's probably going to be one of the deadliest guns in here because it's 7.62. Lalo getting knocked down by Mr. White. NASA's gonna come around. Here's that gunfire. I was about to say, that would have been perfect if it went just like half a meter further. It would have landed back here and potentially knocked out Mr. White. He's now covering that one spot. Mad Wolf has jumped out, though. He's going to potentially catch NASA out of position here. Grenade going over. Way over. And NASA runs inside. All right, so OFCRA starting to confer on this position. 1.5 minutes remaining. Again, it's a lost cause, but it still is worth the fight here, for bragging rights at least. I think the DMR is still trying to get some shots in here. Yep, some more marksman shots raining in. And we see them bandaging back here, so he was actually able to get a hit on one of them. Mad Wolf putting a GL in there, making NASA pull out of that position. Yeah, we got another OPFOR position. Jeez, 2 places where OPFOR's died up here. But White needs to come out, because he's not going to do too much from being just in there alone. Technically 15 seconds remaining, but I haven't seen any warnings put out here. Mill's now trying to breach this position. Mad Wolf coming in. And we just had those 2 guys trade. And Mad Wolf now pushing in. Exchanging shots with NASA. There we go. It didn't count the bunker getting destroyed. So this claims it's a tie, but I assure you the bunker would have been counted as destroyed. So OPFOR gets a perfect 10. But that's pretty damn funny. But anyway, that is the match, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Go operate operationally. We will be back in 2 hours for Paw Patrol PMC operations. Otherwise, cheers. Have a good one. Go operate operationally. I will let the stream play out the 5-minute delay, and I hope to see you in 2 hours.